Hey guys, welcome back to the United Star. And Brian and I are with you today to discuss the all important predicted table that we see happening for the brand new season that surprisingly starts in September, guys. I mean, who expected this to happen? So, Brian, let's straight get into it. We've seen the likes of West Brom, Fulham, and Leeds United get through to the get to the Premier League. Do you see any of them pulling off a Sheffield season this time? And if you do, then where do you see them ending in the table?
I see Leeds playing well. I think they're a very good team. They aren't a championship team for sure. So I think Leeds will. I'm predicting them for even a sixth place finish actually for a Europa League position. So I think they'll perform very well. And otherwise, I think I see Fulham surviving. I don't. I think it'll be a relegation battle at the end, and they'll be in that. But I think they'll survive at the end.
So, I mean, I agree with you when you're talking about Leeds United, right? Marco Bielsa has performed exceptionally well at that club, and they missed out on promotion the year before, but they sealed it this time around. But I think pushing them to sixth position is slightly too high, given the fact that the top six are strengthening so much. You look at
Yeah,
Spurs.
but they've also strengthened their squad quite well.
I
I think
agree,
they've
but
got the
I
players. They
I don't see the likes. I think they signed Rodrigo recently. I don't see him having
Rodrigo, yeah.
that big an impact on their squad and the way they play. I know Marco Bielsa likes to, have his 11 put in crazy amount of effort on this field run,
Yeah.
and you'll see them dead at the end of the day. But I don't see that going on for a long run in the Premier League, because the Premier League is way more physical than the Championship. I think the Championship is a tough league, but the Premier League is a class of its own, and that's why people want to get promoted. I definitely see Leeds finishing somewhere in the top 10. Maybe I would say ninth or 10th, but I believe the top six are really strengthening themselves. So that argument goes away. You did mention Fulham survive. So before I talk about that a bit, I want to know what are your relegation three.
I don't see Villa, Brighton, and West Brom not. I mean, surviving. I think they're going down.
So if we're
Brighton, Villa just pulled it off this season also, and they haven't really added any people, any real materialistic good signings to their squad. And West Brom, I don't think they're very good too. So I think they're
I
going
I
down.
think I agree with you that Villa pushed their luck. They managed to survive because of technology, and Villa will go down. West Brom is another side I don't see doing that well. Maybe having something like a Norwich season where they beat one of the top, start off well, beat one of the
Yeah, yeah.
top six, and then just bottle it for the rest of the season. But I believe that Fulham will go down. I think Brighton have a good manager, a young manager who's done well for his first season. So there's no reason why they won't be able to extend that this season. So my bottom three would be um, West Brom, Aston Villa, and then Fulham. I think that would be my bottom three. So guys, we're not going to get into the middle part of the table, because that just keeps going up and down. We know how things are going to be, but we're going to look at the top 10 and just focus on the top 10, because and we'll go from 10 up, right? Because Priyan, we've been seeing Everton. They have been linked with signing Joe Allen, James Rodriguez,
Joe Allen and
James
Rodriguez, yeah,
Rodriguez,
great signings,
and
great
Decore
signings.
from Watford.
Yeah, for sure.
They're making a very strong side. So let's go one by one. Who do you see finishing 10th? Like I have mentioned Leeds United for me. Who do you think finishes 10th for you?
I think it's going to be a sort of. A, I'm confused between Sheffield and Leicester. I think either of them are going to finish 10. I think Leicester have been playing well, but the other teams have really strengthened the squad this time. So I'd see either Leicester or Sheffield. I'd go with Leicester, 10th
Okay.
position.
So you think Leicester will drop down from 5th to
Yeah,
10th?
I do see them dropping down because this season they had no. There was no Arsenal weren't good, Spurs weren't good, and I see them performing much better than last season, this season. So I think they're going to push up.
Yeah,
then
and
Leicester
I
will
think to a certain degree,
fall off.
you're completely right with Leicester dropping for the fact that they've lost Chilwell to Chelsea. They haven't signed anyone
Yep.
significant as well at the moment.
Right.
It's just they're very dependent on Vardy having his party and Madison clicking. If those players don't click, they look like a mid-table side at times. So I
Yep.
would probably put Leicester ahead of Leeds. I wouldn't put Leicester below Leeds. So I would put Leicester in position 9 for me, while Leeds are 10. So who's in ninth for you?
Sheffield.
Okay.
Sheffield and ninth for me. Yep.
So again, when we're
Uh,
talking about Sheffield, I don't see Lundstrom having the same impact. They've lost their keeper that had a huge
yeah.
significant, and Manchester United have just decided to put him on the bench while we sell out Romero. But definitely, I think Ramsdale is a great squad addition for a replacement to
Yep.
Dean Henderson. They're definitely good when it comes to the centre backs, but again, do I see them replicating what they did last season and uh, almost being there for the Champions League spots till COVID hit? No, but I do see them having a better season than Leicester. So I think we're just going one up and down out here. So I think
Yeah.
that Sheffield end up on eighth. So I'd like to know who you think end up at eighth.
Everton, I think Everton is eighth for me, just down to the fact that they have made such good signings.
Don't you
And I
think
think
they
the
could
Napoli match will
possibly push for
go.
the top six with such signings, with the manager they have, the
I
signings they have, if it all
we've
clicks?
seen it before, right? We've seen it before. They've gone out and spent so much money, but they still haven't even cracked the top 10 that season. I think when they signed Sigurdsson, they signed I just Keane. They signed. They still couldn't push for a top six. So I think it'll take some time for the players also to get used to the Premier League. It's not easy, but I still don't see them pushing for the top six.
Okay, okay. So in eighth you're seeing Everton.
Yeah,
Okay, again. So that there we go. In seventh, I see Everton. I see them just managing to push the top six, and pushing one of those teams. I could probably see someone like Spurs and Arsenal having a fight with Everton because of the amount of improvement that Everton's making with their squad depth. Who's in seventh for you
yeah.
then?
So seventh is Spurs for me.
Interesting, because Spurs have
I
made
think
some
Spurs
really
are
good
really
signings.
good.
I think we've all seen Mourinho. We've seen him in his documentary calling Harry Kane and being like, "We want you to be at the level of Ronaldo and Messi." And all of
Yeah.
that is being discussed. They've signed the likes of Doherty from Wolves, which I believe is a great signing. And yeah, so why so?
I think I would sort of change. I would get Leeds down to seventh here, and I would push Spurs up to sixth. Nothing more. I think the problem I think I see with Spurs is that with Poch they've been sort of playing a style of football, and with Mo it's completely different. Uh, Mourinho, we all know he's a sort of more defense-minded. He likes to have a solid defense, and that wasn't how it was with Poch. They were more free-flowing, more attacking that way. So it's still, I think, a transitioning team. I'm sure. I mean, it's Mourinho, so he gets his players to fight, and they. But I still see them taking a little time to get used to playing how exactly Mourinho wants them to play.
So
For
what are we
that reason,
going
I'll
with
keep them
again?
sixth,
We're going with
sixth,
Leeds.
sixth, seventh, and Spurs sixth.
Okay, that's interesting. That's a very interesting one because we're entering the top six right now,
Yep.
and we know we can name the top six. But while I agree that Spurs are building a side, I still don't think Arteta can pull off that one full season. Even if he signs Gabriel in defense, they've got Caballos back from Real Madrid on a
Yeah.
loan deal. I don't see it. I don't see them getting Europe again. I think they're building onto something, but I would probably go sixth for Arsenal, and I would go fifth for Spurs. So who do you see? Do you see
Spurs.
that being the
It's
swap
the
for you?
reverse for me. Yeah, it's the reverse for me. I'd
So
go
what makes you
Arsenal
think
fifth.
Arteta? What makes you think Arteta outtrumps Mourinho?
I think it's just down to the fact that Arteta has already sort of he's understood Arsenal, and he knows the type of players he wants. He knows the team which clicks for him. He's got time to experiment that, and I don't think Mourinho has found that team yet. So just down to that, I think I'll give Arteta sort of the better odds.
Okay, so we're entering the top four, and a team that I noticed that is not in our top 10, which would be surprising to a lot of viewers, is Wolves. So, according to you, why do you think Wolves drops off the top four or even the top 10?
Uh, I actually was very that was one of the most crucial sort of difficult decisions I had to make in this top 10. I think it's I wouldn't say it's completely, but a big reason is Matt Doherty. I think he was crucial to their team, and it's going to be a big loss for them. And also, I think uh, it's just the sort of I don't know. It's just
I don't know.
it's
I
such
think I think I agree with you to the extent that Doherty was a crucial role in their
yeah,
backline. But adding to that, they haven't made any signings either, right? We're seeing the likes of
correct.
Everton pushing up with those players. We're seeing the likes of City, just spending cash, Spurs going up. So obviously the improvement is being made by other squads, whereas they're just staying stagnant, and they've in fact sold
Yeah,
one of their solid defenders for a really low price of 14
right.
million. So
Yeah,
while one could argue how can you say Leeds ends up ahead of Wolves, I just think that Leeds has that kind of aura and that determination of staying in the
exactly.
Premier League, and Wolves have achieved a lot already for a club of their size. So
Right.
that's why I can see Wolves dropping down this season to somewhere around the 11th and 12th mark. But that being said, let's talk about the Champions League spots. Do we see the similar top four of Liverpool, City, United, Chelsea,
Yeah.
or with Chelsea playing FIFA 20 all over again in the transfer window? Do you see Chelsea maybe being title contenders?
I think just down to the fact that Chelsea have spent so much, if they get anything below second position, I think Lampard should be sacked. Anything below second position. So I still don't see them winning the league because it's still again it's a lot of new players they've got, and yes, they're all great players in their own say, but it's going to be difficult to gel into the team, to play together, and for Lampard to find the right sort of first 11 for him. I think City look good. City's main problem has been their defense, and they've got Nathan Ake. They've got uh, a solid defender, an experienced Premier League defender, and I think Ferran Torres they've signed, and he's also a very promising signing. He's someone who Pep really wanted, and when Pep wants his player and he gets it, we know what he can pull off with that. So I think it's some great signings for them. So I see them pulling off a league win this time.
So where do the
So
likes of Liverpool and United end up then?
I think United end up third with Liverpool falling down to fourth.
So you see such a massive dip for Liverpool?
I do because I think we discussed this in one of the previous videos also. Liverpool, I don't see them sustaining this run now. We saw it, I think, with Dortmund also. Klopp, after the league win, he sort of just phased out from Dortmund. Uh, and they haven't, again, made the signings that were necessary. They've not done it for the second year running, I think. Last season, too, they made very few signings. This squad can't just sustain itself for so long. So I don't see them doing anything better than a top four, than a fourth place finish.
I think I agree with you, but there's a slight change for me. Again, I agree Liverpool finished fourth. I think the excuse that they don't have money is just messed up because
Right.
they won the Champions League 2 seasons ago, and
For
then they
sure.
won the Premier League. So that's just
They haven't made
surprising.
any signings last season, so
Exactly. The
where has the money
signings are
gone?
Milamino and players like that. They've signed players
Yeah,
on the cheap who are work in progress. They aren't ready
correct.
players, and they are linked with Thiago, someone that even Manchester United are linked with, even though they're
Yeah,
favorites to get him. Could be a great signing, but they've been super lucky with injuries, and I think it's going to get the better of them. It can't be
correct.
3 seasons running where they go injury free prone. So I
Yeah,
do see them finishing fourth. My difference is I see Chelsea finishing third and United finishing second. The only reason for that is I think United we saw the United that Ole wanted to play after lockdown. Even though things slowed down towards the end, that is the kind of play that we want. We're seeing a full season of Bruno and Pogba together. We're seeing a squad depth addition in Van de Beek. He brings out that trust that Ole wants on the bench. We're also possibly seeing some additions, which could be, we're linked with Thiago, we're linked with Upamecano, we're linked with a lot of players, but I definitely see one or two more coming in, maybe providing squad depth. And I'm still not giving
Exactly.
up
I
on
think
the Jadon Sancho topic. So for that
yes,
reason,
yes,
I think we're doing smart investment this time rather than just being like, you're a good player, we'll give you the money, come play irrespective. When it comes to Chelsea, I think it'll take the players some time to gel together. I think our squad has, gelled up really well. For the likes of Havertz, Warner, to all get used to the Premier League, it takes that time. But again, if they click immediately the way Bruno clicked, then you're definitely right. Chelsea could finish second. And
yeah. I
obviously, I
think
think,
just coming
yeah,
back to your point, I think if United do make those 2 or 3 signings more, I think then I would see them coming above Chelsea. But just down to the fact that Chelsea have made the signings and they do have the players, they have Mount, they have Tammy Abraham, they have these players who are sort of the second team players right now, but they are still great in their own right. So just for that squad depth, I think they have the thing to go longer. They have the squad to go longer into the season. So I think just for that, I would have placed them second place.
yeah, I think it all comes down to the fact how United sign players, and being a United fan and you as well, we're just optimistic that we get those players
Yeah,
and then we have a chance of finishing second. But again, City go win the league. There's nothing to say about that. I mean, they've already signed
but we
Ake.
still
They've
don't know
already
if Messi
signed.
signs for City.
Yeah,
If
but
he signs,
forget
then this
forget
gives them the
Messi,
league.
forget Messi for a minute, Priyan. Napoli's president is coming out and saying, that Koulibaly could be on his way to
Guy,
City,
yeah,
and that's just a great addition to their defense. They're anyway scary when it comes to
fabulous.
attack, and now you add
Right.
Koulibaly to it, and with the potential signing of Messi, if that happens, let's just not have the league and give them the title, right? Let's just
Yeah,
end it. What's the
definitely,
point of it?
definitely.
So, guys, that's about it. So, our top four is going to be, I mean, we have different ones, but City are winners, Liverpool fourth, United or Chelsea in second and third. Priyan believes Chelsea second. I believe United second. And the surprise packet is for Priyan, Leeds finishes seventh. Am I right, Priyan? Yeah. And
Yeah,
I believe
seven.
Leeds finishes somewhere in the top 10, along with Wolves not being in the top 10 at all, which is somewhat of a surprise, while having this conversation. And when it comes to relegations, I believe it'll be West Brom, Fulham, and Aston Villa, whereas Priyan believes it'll be West Brom, Aston Villa, and Brighton. So, guys, that's about it from us. The season starts in round about a week's time, and we're
10 games.
super excited for how things go. Uh, Football's back, guys. So we'll see you next time. Do let us know what you think about our predictions. Until then, bye bye.